The stars looked different from the command bridge of the Zarkonian flagship. Admiral Vexthor stood with his forearms clasped behind his back, his scaled skin reflecting the blue glow of the ship's controls. His yellow eyes narrowed as the small blue planet came into view on the main screen. "Earth," he said, tasting the strange word. Such an odd name for a planet. They named it after dirt. Officer Mektal approached with a data tablet. "Final scans confirm our earlier reports. Admiral, the planet has abundant water, minerals, and biological resources. The dominant species has achieved limited space travel but nothing beyond their own moon, and a few robotic missions to nearby planets." Vexthor nodded. "And their weapons?" "Primitive. Nuclear capabilities, but no planetary shield, no energy weapons. Their most advanced aircraft would be no match for even our smallest fighters." The Admiral turned to his strategic advisor, Zilvan. "And yet no one has claimed this system. Explain." Zilvan shifted uncomfortably. "There are stories, Admiral. Nothing in official records, but traders speak of warnings. Some say the system is cursed." Vexthor laughed, a harsh sound that made junior officers flinch. "The Zarkonian Empire does not fear ghost stories. We have conquered 17 systems. This will be the 18th. He pointed to the blue planet. "Begin the approach. I want our ships in orbit within 3 days. On Earth, in a small observatory outside of Boulder, Colorado." Heather Miller rubbed her tired eyes. The night shift was always long, but as an astronomer for NASA's Near-Earth Object Program, someone had to watch the skies. She took another sip of coffee and glanced back at her monitor. She blinked, then leaned closer. "That's not right," she murmured. The objects she had been tracking had changed course. Asteroids didn't do that. Her fingers flew over the keyboard, confirming the readings. Whatever these things were, they were headed straight for Earth, and they were moving with purpose. Heather reached for her phone and called her supervisor, Alan Reeves. "Alan, it's Heather. You need to see this now." Her voice was steady despite her racing heart. "I've got multiple objects approaching Earth from beyond Mars. They just made an impossible course correction." 30 minutes later, Alan stood beside her, his face pale in the glow of the monitors. "I've called Washington. They're sending someone." Morning, the observatory parking lot filled with black SUVs. Men and women in military uniforms poured into the small building. Major Frank Daniels of the newly formed Space Force took charge, setting up equipment and turning the modest observatory into a temporary command center. Frank studied the data with Heather. He was a tall man with short gray hair and eyes that had seen combat. "You're certain these aren't natural objects?" Heather pointed to the trajectory charts. "Natural objects don't make 90-degree turns, Major. These things accelerated after changing direction. They're ships." Frank nodded grimly and stepped away to make a call. Heather couldn't hear what he said, but she saw his expression grow more serious. When he returned, he spoke quietly. "Dr. Miller, what you've discovered is now classified. I need you to keep working with us. You're the one who spotted them first." He managed a small smile. "Good eyes." Within hours, observatories around the world reported the same findings. In the White House Situation Room, President Samantha Powell met with her Joint Chiefs of Staff. The room was tense as they reviewed the data. "How long until they reach Earth?" the president asked. General Patricia Hayes pointed to the projection. "At current speeds, they'll reach Earth orbit in approximately 72 hours, Madam President." "Options?" The room fell silent. Finally, the Secretary of Defense spoke. "We have no weapons capable of reaching them before they reach us. Our nuclear arsenal could be deployed once they're closer, but we don't know their capabilities." The president's national security advisor slid a red folder across the table. "There is Protocol Omega, ma'am." Everyone in the room stiffened. Few knew the details of Protocol Omega. It had been passed from president to president since the 1700s, never implemented, never fully explained to the public. President Powell opened the folder and read silently. After a moment, she closed it. "Get me Director Kate Morrison from DSRI." In Wyoming, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Catherine Morrison walked through steel doors that required 3 separate biometric scans to open. The Deep Space Research Initiative had existed for centuries under different names. Its true purpose, known to only a handful of people in each generation. Kate's assistant, Ben Harrison, met her at the final security checkpoint. "They're really coming this time?" Kate nodded. "The president has authorized Protocol Omega." Together they entered a chamber unlike any other on Earth. The walls were made of a material that seemed to absorb light. In the center stood a device that resembled a black obelisk, roughly 7 feet tall with pulsing blue lines running along its surface. "After all these years," Ben whispered. Kate placed her palm on the obelisk. The blue lines brightened at her touch, and a soft humming filled the room. "Send the signal," she said. In space, the Zarkonian fleet approached Earth with growing confidence. Admiral Vexthor prepared his declaration of conquest, a speech he had given 17 times before. "Begin broadcast on all Earth frequencies," he ordered. The communications officer complied, and Vexthor addressed the planet below. "People of Earth, I am Admiral Vexthor of the Zarkonian Empire. Your world now belongs to us. Surrender your resources and accept our rule, and you may live as subjects of our glorious empire. Resist, and we will destroy your cities one by one until you submit." On the bridge of his ship, Vexthor smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Now we wait for their surrender. It usually takes less than one planetary rotation." Officer Kurval approached, confusion evident in his posture. "Admiral, we're detecting no panic in their communications. Their military vessels remain in normal positions. They are not even attempting to ready their weapons." Vexthor frowned. "Perhaps they don't understand the situation. Prepare a demonstration. Target their largest military installation." Before Kurval could acknowledge the order, alarms blared across the bridge. The tactical officer shouted, "Energy surge detected at the edge of the system. Massive readings coming from beyond Pluto." Vexthor spun toward the main viewer. "Show me." The screen shifted to display the outer edge of the solar system. At first there was nothing but distant stars. Then space itself seemed to ripple and tear. Through the distortion came ships, massive black vessels that absorbed rather than reflected light. They moved with impossible speed, covering the distance from Pluto to Earth in minutes rather than hours. "Impossible," Vexthor whispered. "Our intelligence said this was a primitive world." The largest of the black ships positioned itself between the Zarkonian fleet and Earth. It dwarfed Vexthor's flagship, making it look like a toy in comparison. "Admiral," the communications officer said, voice shaking, "we're receiving a transmission." "On screen," Vexthor ordered. The image that appeared made the bridge crew gasp. The being looked vaguely humanoid but stood at least 8 feet tall with silver skin that seemed to glow from within. Its eyes held no pupils, just radiant blue light. "I am Commander Ilara of the Galactic Protectorate," the being said, its voice resonating with power. "You have violated protected space. Earth is under our guardianship by ancient pact. You have 1 planetary rotation to leave this system, or you will be removed." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. "Officer." Zilvan approached Vexthor. "Admiral, perhaps the stories were true after all." Admiral Vexthor paced the bridge of his command ship, his clawed feet clicking against the metal floor. The massive Guardian vessels surrounded his fleet, their black hulls seeming to swallow the light of the distant sun. His officers watched, him nervously waiting for orders. "We cannot retreat," he finally said. "The High Council would view it as weakness. 17 systems conquered without resistance, and now we flee from our 18th? Zilvan, his strategic advisor, stepped forward. "Admiral, with respect, those ships outclass ours in every way. Our scans cannot even penetrate their hulls." Vexthor slammed his fist onto a console. "I will not be the first Zarkonian admiral to retreat without firing a shot." Officer Kurval spoke from his station. "Admiral, we're receiving another transmission from the Guardian vessel." On screen, Vexthor growled. Commander Ilara's silver face appeared again. "Your time is running short, Admiral, but before you make your decision, there is something you should see." The image shifted to show a recording. This footage was taken 300 Earth years ago. The Zarkonians watched in silence as the screen displayed a battle unlike any they had witnessed. Massive ships different from the current Guardian vessels but clearly of the same origin, fought against bizarre, organic-looking craft. Energy weapons tore through space. Planets burned. This was the Nexus War, Ilara's voice explained over the footage. A conflict that nearly destroyed our civilization and threatened all life in this sector of the galaxy. The image changed to show a primitive Earth sailing ship. From it, humans in simple clothing fired primitive weapons at monstrous creatures that had boarded their vessel. When all seemed lost, we encountered humanity. Ilara continued. A species that had barely mastered ocean travel, fighting with gunpowder and steel, yet they fought alongside us against an enemy that had defeated dozens of advanced civilizations. More images appeared. Humans in colonial clothing, standing with guardian warriors. Simple earth farmers using pitchforks and muskets against tentacled horrors. Wounded guardians being tended by humans in candlelit rooms. They had no reason to join our war. They could have hidden on their world. Instead, they bled alongside us and turned the tide. The images faded and Ilara's face returned. This is why Earth remains protected. This is why no one dares attack this world. The transmission ended. The bridge was silent. On Earth, President Powell sat in the Oval Office with Kate Morrison and a silver-skinned guardian who had introduced himself as Tyrell. Unlike Commander Ilara in orbit, Tyrell wore simple human clothing, a dark suit that contrasted with his metallic skin. "Your ships arrived quickly," the President said. Tyrell nodded. "We keep a battle group at the edge of your solar system, at all times. It is part of our treaty obligations." Kate opened a leather-bound book. The Treaty of Valley Forge, signed in 1756. America wasn't even a country yet. George Washington was there, Tyrell added, as were representatives from other human nations. Your Benjamin Franklin proved particularly insightful about interspecies diplomacy. President Powell leaned forward. "Will the Zarkonians leave? Peacefully?" "Unknown," Tyrell replied. "They are prideful and have never faced resistance, but they are not fools. Their weapons cannot harm our vessels." In the observatory in Colorado, Heather Miller watched the alien ships through the powerful telescope. Major Frank Daniels stood beside her, his face tense. "I still don't understand," Heather said. "If these guardians have been protecting us for centuries, why doesn't everyone know?" Frank sighed. "Need-to-know basis, fear of panic. Plus, the treaty had terms. We keep their existence secret, they help us advance at our own pace. But they've been here all this time, watching us." Frank nodded. "Living among us, some of them. There's a reason we've made so many technological leaps in the last century." Alan Reeves entered the room, his eyes wide. "You need to see this." He turned on a monitor showing a live news broadcast. A reporter stood in Times Square, where thousands of people gazed up at the sky. The camera panned upward to show something impossible. The massive Guardian ships had descended into Earth's atmosphere, visible to everyone on the planet. "The President is about to address the nation," Alan said. Deep beneath the Wyoming mountains, Ben Harrison watched technicians work on the black obelisk. The device now glowed brightly, its blue lines pulsing in a steady rhythm. "What exactly is this thing?" he asked an older technician. The woman smiled. "Guardian communication technology. It's been here since 1756, maintained by our people. This one connects directly to their homeworld, 20,000 light-years away. And there are more of these? All over the world. Every major nation has one hidden away. Moscow, Beijing, London, Cairo, part of the treaty." In orbit, Admiral Vexthor made his decision. "Prepare the main cannon, target their lead vessel." Zilvan's eyes widened. "Admiral, that would be suicide." "I will not retreat without showing our strength," Vexthor insisted. Before the weapons officer could comply, sensors blared again. Space rippled once more at the edge of the solar system. New ships emerged, not Guardian vessels this time, but massive organic constructs that seemed alive. "What now?" Vexthor demanded. Kurval's voice shook. Admiral, our database identifies these as harvester ships, the species mentioned in ancient warnings. The enemy from the footage we just saw. Impossible. They were defeated centuries ago. Apparently not completely, sir. On the Guardian command ship, Commander Alara received reports from her officers. She opened a channel to Earth. Guardian Tyrael, the harvesters have returned. Small. Group scout force only, but their presence is concerning. In the Oval Office, Tyrael's expression remained calm, but his eyes flashed brighter. This changes matters. The Zarkonians are now the least of our concerns. President Powell's phone rang. She answered, listened briefly, then looked at Tyrael. Our deep space monitoring stations are detecting more rifts opening throughout the solar system. Whatever these harvesters are, more are coming. Tyrell stood. Madam President, the treaty has contingencies for this scenario. We must activate the Global Defense Network. That network exists only on paper, she replied. We've never built. Not above ground, Tyrell said. But below. He turned to Kate Morrison. Kate nodded. It's time to open the vaults. In orbit, Admiral Vexthor watched in confusion as the Guardian ship suddenly ignored his fleet, turning their attention to the approaching harvester vessels. A transmission came through, not from the Guardians, but from Earth itself. President. Powell's face appeared on his screen. Admiral Vexthor. Earth now faces a common enemy that threatens both our peoples. The treaty we have with the Guardians extends protection to any species within our system during a harvester incursion. Vexthor blinked in surprise. You offer us protection, a primitive world? Not just protection, Admiral. We offer you the chance to fight alongside us as we once fought alongside the Guardians. The choice is yours. Retreat from our system now, or stand with humanity against the darkness. As the transmission ended, Vexthor saw something rising. From Earth's surface, thousands of small points of light, launching from hidden facilities across the planet. They were ships, clearly built with Guardian technology, but bearing human markings and designs. Earth was not defenseless after all. The hidden ships rising from Earth stunned everyone watching. They were smaller than the Guardian vessels, but sleek and numerous. Their hulls gleamed with a silvery blue metal unknown to most humans. Each ship bore the flags of different Earth, nations alongside a unified emblem, a circle with lines radiating outward like a sun. In the Wyoming facility, Kate Morrison and Ben Harrison rushed through corridors now filled with activity. Personnel in uniforms bearing the same sunburst emblem worked at stations that had sat dormant for decades. I never thought I'd see this day, Kate said, as they entered a massive underground hangar. Dozens of the silver-blue ships were launching through a ceiling that had opened to the sky. The Earth Defense Fleet activated after 200 years of preparation. Ben watched in awe. How many ships do we have? 5,000 worldwide, Kate replied. Built in secret with Guardian technology but human design. Each major nation has been constructing and hiding them since the treaty was signed. And the crews? Special forces personnel from around the world, trained in simulator programs disguised as video games. None of them knew they were actually training for real combat until today. In orbit, Admiral Vexthor faced a difficult choice. The harvester ships approached from multiple directions, their organic hulls pulsing with sickly green light. The Guardian vessels moved to intercept them, forming a defensive line. Admiral, Zilvan urged, we must decide, retreat or join this fight. Vexthor watched as the smaller Earth ships organized themselves into formation. Their movements were disciplined despite never having engaged in actual space combat before. The humans fight to protect us after we came to conquer them, he said quietly. There is honor in that. He straightened his spine. We are Zarkonians. We do not flee from battle. Signal the fleet. Move to support the Guardian left flank. His officers looked relieved as they carried out his orders. The Zarkonian ships accelerated, their weapons powering up. On the main Guardian vessel, Commander Alara received the communication from the Zarkonian fleet. It seems Admiral Vexthor has chosen wisely, she told her officers. Open a channel to the Earth Defense Fleet. Captain Olivia Martinez of the EDF Defender acknowledged the transmission. Like all EDF captains, she had trained her entire military career for this moment, though she never truly believed it would come. Commander, Ilara, the Earth Defense Fleet is at your disposal. We've trained with simulations of harvester tactics for generations. Very good, Captain, Ilara replied. Take your ships to Sector 4. The harvesters always attack in waves, trying to find weaknesses in our lines. As the Earth ships moved into position, the first harvester vessel launched its attack. Green, energy beams lanced out, striking a Guardian ship. The black hull absorbed much of the energy, but the Guardian vessel still shuddered from the impact. The battle had begun. In the White House Situation Room, President Powell watched the space battle through a special interface provided by the Guardians. Military leaders from Russia, China, India, Britain, and other major powers joined by secure video link. All Earth Defense Fleet units report ready, General Hayes announced. Our ships are engaging the enemy. The Russian president spoke up from his screen. Our cosmonauts have trained their whole lives hoping never to use their skills. Today they make us proud. Tyrell stood beside President Powell. The harvesters appear to be testing our defenses. This is a scout force, not a full invasion. Can we defeat them? Powell asked. Together? Yes. The concern is what follows. If the harvesters have returned after all these centuries, more will come. At the Colorado Observatory, Heather Miller and Frank Daniels had been ordered to assist with Earth's ground-based defenses. Heather worked at a modified console, directing powerful energy beams from hidden mountain installations. I still can't believe all this technology was here all along, she said, targeting a harvester ship that had broken through the defensive line. Frank nodded. My grandfather was in the program. He could never tell us what he really did in the military. Now I understand why. Alan burst into the room. We have a problem. 3 harvester ships have broken formation. They're heading for Earth's atmosphere. In space, the battle grew more intense. The Earth ships proved surprisingly effective, their smaller size allowing them to maneuver quickly around the larger harvester vessels. The Guardian ships provided the main firepower, their advanced weapons tearing through harvester hulls. The Zarkonian fleet, though less advanced than the Guardians, added significant strength to the alliance. Captain Martinez's ship took a direct hit from a harvester beam. Her vessel shuddered, but the shields held. Damage report, she called. Shields, at 60%, her tactical officer responded. The Guardian-designed hull plating is performing better than expected. Martinez gripped her command chair. Target their center mass and fire. Her ship's main weapon discharged, a blue-white beam that cut through the harvester vessel. The alien ship split apart, its organic components withering in the vacuum of space. Admiral Vexthor watched this with new respect. These humans fight well for a species so young. His own ship engaged a harvester vessel, pouring fire into its side. The harvester returned fire, damaging one of the Zarkonian engines. Admiral, his tactical officer called. 3 harvester. Ships have broken through. They're heading for the planet. Vexthor made a quick decision. Pursue them. The humans defended us. We will defend them. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, an ancient facility awakened. Unlike the Wyoming base with its ships and modern technology, this installation housed something far older. In a chamber untouched for centuries, Native American elders watched as tribal markings on the walls began to glow blue. The old stories were true, one elder said. The Star People have returned, and the Dark Ones with them. Ancient mechanisms, a blend of Guardian technology and human craftsmanship from before the Industrial Age, hummed to life. A massive crystal in the center of the chamber began to pulse with energy. Begin the ritual, the lead elder said. Earth must be protected as it was before. Around the world, similar sites activated. Beneath Stonehenge in England, under the Giza Plateau in Egypt, within Mount Fuji in Japan, and dozens more. Each contained technology given to humans centuries or even millennia ago, designed to protect the planet itself. In orbit, The three harvester ships that had broken through suddenly found themselves facing a new obstacle. As they approached Earth's atmosphere, a shimmering blue energy field appeared before them, a planetary shield that had not existed moments before. The harvesters crashed into the shield, their organic hulls burning upon contact. None penetrated to the surface below. On the Guardian command ship, Commander Ilara received reports of the shield's activation. "The humans have activated the ancient defenses," she told her officers with something like pride in her voice. "This battle may be decided sooner than we expected." The blue shield surrounding Earth shimmered as more harvester ships tried to break through. Each attempt failed, their organic hulls burning upon contact with the ancient defense system. In orbit, the combined fleet of Guardian, Earth, and Zarkonian vessels pressed their advantage against the remaining harvester ships. Admiral Vexthor's flagship moved alongside a Guardian vessel, both ships firing on a large harvester craft. The enemy ship twisted in space, its hull splitting open to release dozens of smaller craft that resembled insects. "Swarm units," Vexthor shouted. "All ships, target the smaller craft." The Earth Defense Fleet responded quickly, their smaller vessels perfect for intercepting the swarm. Captain Martinez guided her ship through the chaos, picking off the insect-like craft one by one. "They're heading for the shield generators," she called over the shared communication channel. "If they find the power sources on the surface, they could disable the shield." Commander Ilara's voice came through clearly. "Guardian vessels will handle the remaining capital ships. Earth and Zarkonian forces. Focus on the swarm." In the Rocky Mountain facility, the Native American elders felt the shield straining as the swarm unit searched for weak points. The crystal at the center of the chamber pulsed faster, drawing power from similar installations worldwide. "They remember," said the lead elder. "After all these centuries, they remember how we defeated them before." One of the younger members looked concerned. "Can the shield hold?" "Not indefinitely. It was never meant to. The shield buys time for the warriors to win the battle above." In the Wyoming base, Kate Morrison received reports from shield installations worldwide. "The swarm units are probing the shield looking for the nexus points." Ben checked the displays. "Nexus points?" "Where the shield generators connect. There are 7 major nexus points around the world: Tibet, Egypt, Peru, Greenland, Australia, Zimbabwe, and here in North America." The facility shook as something impacted the mountain above them. Kate steadied herself against a console. "They've found us. Get me the president." In orbit, Admiral Vexthor noticed the harvester swarm concentrating its attacks on 7 specific locations around the planet. He opened a channel to Commander Ilara. "The enemy is targeting key points on the planet's surface. They seem to know exactly where to strike." "They should," Ilara replied. "They fought this battle before, 3 centuries ago. The shield defeated them then too." Vexthor made a quick decision. "Zarkonian fleet, regroup at my position. We will defend the Earth location that's under heaviest attack." His ships moved into formation, descending closer to Earth's atmosphere. Through the blue shimmer of the shield, he could see the rocky mountains below. In the White House Situation Room, President Powell received Kate's urgent call. "Madam President, the Wyoming Nexus is under direct attack. If it falls, the entire shield will weaken." "What do you need?" "The Guardians placed something in human care centuries ago. It's time to use it." The president looked at Tyrell, who nodded solemnly. She picked up a secure phone and gave an authorization code that had been passed from president to president since Washington. "Operation Sunrise is a go." Across the globe, special military units moved toward secure vaults hidden beneath government buildings, ancient temples, and natural landmarks. Each team carried identical orders. In orbit, Captain Martinez's ship took heavy damage from 3 swarm units. Alarms blared on her bridge as systems failed. "Shields down to 20%, her tactical officer reported. "One more hit and we're done." Before the enemy could strike again, a Zarkonian vessel moved between them, absorbing the attack meant for the Earth ship. The Zarkonian craft shuddered but remained intact. "Earth vessel," came a Zarkonian voice over the comm. "Move. To safety, we will cover you." Martinez couldn't hide her surprise. "Thank you, Zarkonian vessel. We owe you." "No debt," came the reply. "We fight together now." In the Colorado Observatory, now converted to a defense command post, Heather Miller tracked the swarm units approaching the Rocky Mountain facility. Frank Daniels coordinated with military units rushing to defend the area. "Whatever they're protecting down there must be important," Heather said, watching the enemy concentration grow. Frank nodded grimly. "According to these orders, it's the primary shield generator for North America. If it falls, the whole Western Hemisphere becomes vulnerable." Alan burst into the room. "We have new orders. Operation Sunrise." Frank's eyes widened. That's not possible. That's just a training scenario." "Not anymore," Alan replied, handing him a secure tablet. "It's real, and we're part of it." In 7 locations around the world, the special military units reached their destinations. In each vault, they found identical objects, golden spheres about the size of basketballs, covered in intricate markings that were neither human nor guardian in origin. In Washington, D.C., beneath the Lincoln Memorial, a team of Navy SEALs retrieved the American sphere. The team leader carefully placed it in a special container. "Package secured," he reported, moving to deployment location. Similar reports came in from the other 6 teams. The ancient devices hidden on Earth centuries ago were on the move. In the Rocky Mountain facility, the elders sensed the approaching spheres. "The light of judgment comes," the lead elder said. "As it was before, so it shall be again." The crystal in the center of the chamber began to pulse in a new pattern, as if responding to something. Admiral Vexthor's fleet engaged the swarm units attacking the Rocky Mountain facility. His ships formed a protective barrier, their weapons blazing against the insect-like craft. But more swarm units arrived, their numbers seemingly endless. "We cannot hold them all," Sylvan reported. "There are too many." Vexthor watched as several of his ships took heavy damage. "We hold as long as we can. The humans and Guardians have a plan." As if in response to his words, 7 Earth shuttles broke through the battle, each heading to one of the targeted locations. The shuttles moved with incredible speed, protected by fighter escorts from all 3 allied species. "What are they carrying?" Vexthor wondered aloud. On the Guardian command ship, Commander Alara watched the shuttle's progress. "The seeds of light," she said quietly. "The last gift from our ancestors." The Harvester forces seemed to recognize the threat. They redoubled their attacks, focusing all their efforts on stopping the shuttles. But the combined might of the Guardian, Earth and Zarkonian fleets kept them at bay just long enough. All 7 shuttles reached their destinations, landing near the shield nexus points. From each, soldiers emerged carrying the golden spheres. They raced toward the ancient facilities even as swarm units broke through local defenses. At the Rocky Mountain facility, the Navy SEAL team arrived just as the outer doors began to buckle under Harvester attacks. They rushed inside with their precious cargo. The lead elder met them at the inner chamber. "You have brought it. Place it upon the crystal." The team leader carefully set the golden sphere atop the pulsing crystal. The sphere began to rotate, lifting slightly into the air. The other 6 spheres, placed on their corresponding crystals around the world, did the same. In orbit, Commander Alara opened a channel to all Allied ships. "Move beyond the shield perimeter. Now!" The Allied fleet pulled back just as the 7 golden spheres activated simultaneously. Beams of golden light shot from each nexus point, connecting to form a web of energy around the planet. Where the blue shield had been defensive, this golden web was something else entirely. It expanded outward, engulfing the Harvester swarm. Wherever the golden light touched the organic ships, they simply ceased to exist, dissolving into particles that scattered in the solar wind. The remaining Harvester capital ships attempted to flee, but the golden web expanded faster than they could move. Within moments, the entire Harvester force was gone. On his bridge, Admiral Vexthor watched in awe. What was that weapon? Zilvan checked the sensors. Not a weapon as we understand it, Admiral. It did not destroy the enemy ships, so much as unmake them. In the White House, President Powell turned to Tyrell. Is it over? The Guardian's eyes glowed softly. This battle is, but the Harvesters now know Earth still stands. They will return in greater numbers. And we'll be ready, the President replied. Just as we were today. 3 days after the battle, representatives from Earth, the Guardian Protectorate, and the Zarkonian Empire gathered in the United Nations General Assembly. The Grand Hall had been modified to accommodate the alien visitors. Special chairs supported the four-armed Zarkonians while the taller Guardians stood comfortably at raised platforms. President Powell addressed the historic gathering. Today marks a new chapter for all our peoples. What began as an invasion became an alliance against a common enemy. The Harvesters have been defeated for now, but we all know they will return. Admiral Vexithor, now serving as the Zarkonian ambassador, nodded in agreement. His pride had been replaced by a new respect for both humans and Guardians. The Zarkonian Empire acknowledges its error in targeting Earth. We did not understand the true nature of this world or its people. Commander Elara stepped forward, her silver skin gleaming under the lights. For 3 centuries, the Guardian Protectorate has honored its treaty with Earth. Today we extend that protection to include the Zarkonian people, should they choose to join our alliance. Vexthor looked surprised. You would offer us protection, after we came as conquerors? You chose to fight beside us when it mattered, President Powell said. That counts for more than your initial intentions. The Admiral bowed his head. The High Council has authorized me to negotiate terms. The Zarkonian Empire wishes to join your alliance. As the 3 leaders continued their discussion, Kate Morrison and Ben Harrison watched from a balcony above. The Wyoming facility had been damaged in the battle but was already being repaired. Everything changes now, Kate said quietly. The world knows about the Guardians, the treaty, all of it. Ben nodded. No more secrets. No more hiding our technology. Some secrets remain, Kate replied. The golden spheres have been returned to their vaults. Operation Sunrise is once again dormant until needed. In Colorado, Heather Miller packed her belongings from the observatory. She had been offered a new position with the Earth Defense Fleet, using her skills to train the next generation of space defenders. Frank Daniels helped her carry boxes to her car. Ready for your new life as a space officer? Heather laughed. Not really. A week ago I was just an astronomer looking for asteroids. Now I'm heading to a secret base to help prepare for an alien war. You spotted them first, Frank reminded her. You saw what no one else did. That's why they want you. In orbit, Captain Martinez supervised repairs on her ship. The Earth Defense Fleet had suffered losses, but most vessels had survived their first real combat. Engineers from all 3 species worked together, sharing technology and techniques. Martinez watched as a Zarkonian engineer taught human technicians about their engine design, while Guardian mechanics helped repair Earth's weapon systems. Captain, her communications officer called, incoming transmission from Zarkonian High Command for all their ships. Martinez raised an eyebrow. Put it on speakers. Let's hear what they have to say to their people. The voice of the Zarkonian High Chancellor filled the bridge. Attention, all Zarkonian vessels. Our mission has changed. We came to this system seeking conquest, but instead found worthy allies. The treaty signed today makes us partners with Earth and the Guardian Protectorate. Honor this alliance as you would honor the Empire itself. Martinez smiled. Looks like we have new friends. In the Rocky Mountain facility, the Native American elders gathered around the crystal, which had returned to its normal soft glow. The golden sphere had been returned to its vault in Washington, D.C., but its power had left a lasting impression on the ancient site. The Star People say the Dark Ones will return, the lead elder told his people. In greater numbers than before. Will the light weapon defeat them again? A younger member asked. Not alone. That is why the alliance matters. 3 peoples standing as one will be stronger than any could be alone. Beneath the surface of Mars, in a location unknown to humans or Zarkonians, Guardian scientists studied data from the battle. The facility had been hidden there for centuries, monitoring Earth's development while remaining undetected. The humans performed better than expected, one scientist noted. Their ships showed remarkable adaptation of our technology. Another, Guardian nodded. The old ones chose well when they selected Earth for the treaty. Humans continue to surprise us with their ingenuity. And the Zarkonians? A fortunate addition. Their military experience will be valuable in the coming conflict. In the void between star systems, far from Earth, the surviving Harvester scout ship transmitted data back to its distant fleet. The transmission contained images of Earth, the Guardian vessels, and the golden web that had destroyed their forces. The response came swiftly. A massive fleet would be assembled. Earth would be targeted with the full might of the Harvester Armada. The journey would take time, but they would come. 1 week after the battle, Admiral Vexthor stood on the observation deck of his ship, watching Earth rotate below. Sylvan joined him, datapad in hand. The treaty has been fully ratified by the High Council, Sylvan reported. We are now officially allies with Earth and the Guardians. Vexthor nodded. Send word to our 17 systems. All military forces should begin preparations for the coming conflict. Do you believe we can win against the full Harvester fleet? Vexthor watched as an Earth ship passed by, escorting a Guardian vessel. I have seen 3 species put aside their differences to fight as one. I have witnessed ancient magic and advanced technology combined in ways I never imagined possible. And I have seen the courage of humans, beings who should have been no match for us, yet stood ready to defend even their would-be conquerors. He turned to Sylvan. I believe that any force that dares attack Earth will regret it, as we nearly did. On Earth, in a small diner in Kansas, a farmer named Sam Parker watched the news on a wall-mounted television. The screen showed images of the Zarkonian and Guardian ships now visibly orbiting Earth, no longer hidden from public view. The waitress, Linda, refilled his coffee cup. What do you think about all this alien business, Sam? Scary times. Sam shrugged. My grandfather used to tell stories about strange lights over the farm back in the 1940s. Said his father had stories from the 1800s, too. Seems to me these folks have been around a lot longer than we knew. Linda nodded toward the television, which now showed President Powell shaking hands with Admiral Vexthor. You think we can trust them? The ones that came to invade us? They fought beside us when it mattered, Sam said, repeating the president's words. My daddy was a Marine. He said you learn who your real friends are when the shooting starts. Outside the diner, a Guardian observer in human form walked unnoticed down the street. She had lived among humans for 50 years, one of hundreds of Guardians stationed on Earth as part of the treaty. She smiled as she overheard the conversation through the diner's open window. The humans would be ready when the Harvesters returned. They always had been. That was why the Guardians had chosen Earth all those centuries ago, not for its resources or strategic position, but for its people. A species young enough to adapt, brave enough to fight, and wise enough to form alliances even with those who had come as enemies. That was why no one dared attack Earth. And now the entire galaxy would remember why.